Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
It's Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Just Ask Gigi. I'm Tom Alexander, and of course, as always, I am joined by the one, the only, Gigi Stetler. Hey, Gigi, how's things going this week?
It's been other than my night and day right now, it's been quite hectic this week.
Yeah, I know that our the official mascot of RV Advisor is your beautiful dog Yuki. And yeah. Yuki had some issues last night. There's
Can
Yuki.
you see him?
Yeah, we could see him. There he is. He's a beautiful dog. And what's the breed again?
He's an Akita.
An Akita. He's an Akita. And he had some issues last night and had to go in for some, I guess, emergency surgery.
Yes, my son called me and said he couldn't move and he was hiding behind the pool table and his stomach was completely blown up. He sent me a picture of it. So I got in my car, flew home, called the vet, said to bring him right away. So he's not a small dog, so we had to pick him up with a blanket and throw him in the back of put him in the back of the SUV and in the Tesla, and we ran there and he has what's called bloat, which is equivalent to like colic for a horse, when their intestines twist.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of, I think, minutes or he would have died. Ooh. And so he's not out of the woods, but he is in recovery. Did make it through surgery, so they operated on him right away last night. We actually had to take him from the clinic to the hospital. And so needless to say, I've been crying all night, so I have swollen red eyes, so I may not look my best today. And I might not be my cheery self.
You look just fine, but yeah, it's, we love our animals so much, and we certainly know what that's all about. I know Yuki's a rescue. He's right, and he's 11. Believe about 11 or 12 years old.
When I got him, they said I found him. He was in a cage, and it was actually, they were going to have to put him to sleep because he was, he's a big older dog. He was probably somewhere between 3 and 5. They didn't know, but the family that had him just couldn't keep him anymore, and I was just drawn to him, and I rescued him. So I've had him 6 years, going on 7 years now. So I guess do the math, he's somewhere between 11 and 12.
Right.
So $8,000 later of surgery.
Ooh, yeah, that's pricey.
It's a horrible thing that you have to, put any animal, a price tag on it. And, I didn't have $8,000, to spend, but, thank God I had that much room in my credit card. But, I could not say, there was no option. And there was only a 50% chance that he would even make it through surgery. But I love that dog, and there's no way that I wouldn't give him a chance. So, $8,000 later, I hope I get to pick him up tomorrow.
I hope so too. We all do. What time of the night was this?
No, it was early because I was still here. I was still at the office. We were slammed with customers, and my son texted me around maybe 5:15 and asked me when was I coming home, and I might want to come home earlier. Yuki doesn't look very good. And he sent me a picture of him, and I knew right away there was something wrong. And so I flew home. So by the time I got home, it was, I don't know, close to 6, and got to the vet. It was about 6:15. And we were lucky because actually I didn't really understand bloat. I didn't know what it meant. And when I researched it, I was looking it up after they diagnosed him with that. Well, actually, my son has a friend who went to vet school. So he came over and he said it right away that he has bloat. And so after researching it, it literally says you have, sometimes minutes to make a decision to get them decompressed and their stomach decompressed before they rupture. And I mean, somebody was looking out for us, because it was by the time my son found him and I got home and we got him to the first clinic and then to the emergency room, it was 2 hours. So, you know, I'm so lucky, so lucky that.
Yeah. Well, we're sure happy to hear, encouraged to hear, of course, that you know, he got through surgery okay and recovering right now, and we'll see, and hopefully the news will pan out and be good.
Yes,
yeah.
the doctor did call me he called me in the middle of the night after the surgery. He said that, you know, the surgery went well and exactly what they diagnosed, and they repaired it and untwisted it and this and that, and then called me this morning to tell me that he, you know, made it through the night, and he's not eating anything yet, which was expected. And then he basically told me for the rest of the day, no news is good news. So now I'm paranoid when my phone rings, you know, because he said no news is good news. So
right, yeah. Well, so hopefully the phone continues not to ring.
Right, until they tell me tomorrow to come pick him up, you know.
Right, there you go.
And of course, I'm going to call in a little while to check up, you know. So anyway, back to the RV world. So.
Yeah, well, we love Yuki, and the mascot of the company, you know.
Yeah.
Mascot strong. We got obviously a few things to talk about, like you said, in the RV world. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and chat about the latest right here on Just Ask Gigi. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. And somewhere around Yuki's there too. All right, we'll be back in a moment. RV owners, it's no secret that those manufacturers' warranties just don't cut it. Get the peace of mind you deserve and step up to the RV Advisor Extended Warranty Plan. Visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911. We are back on Just Ask Gigi, along with Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander, and Gigi, you know, in this time that we're in, and we're in month, what are we in now, 4 or something like that of this craziness? And here in Florida, you know, it seems like we, you know, may have jumped the gun a little bit too much, because now they're starting to close up some places because we've had spikes with the COVID.
Yeah.
It's just, wow, you
know that's going to happen.
Yeah, we knew, right? We
haven't even seen the resilience of the protesting yet, because, you know, we've got another week or so before, you know. Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be interesting to see what those results yield. But anyway, here's the deal. RVs, folks. RVs are really they're a great source of you know, safety, you know, in places, you know, something that you can sort of isolate yourself in. We've been talking about that, which we're going to get into. And I just was sent an article. It was out of on my phone here, which I know you can't see. Nah, it's not going to work out. But anyway, it's out of the New York Times. So it's like a, you know, it's like a real big newspaper, obviously. And the headline reads, "Worried about social distancing when traveling? Join the crowd and rent an RV." Hey, how about that? The New York Times. So pretty cool. And, you know, and that was actually came out today. So, you know, we've been talking about this, Gigi, you know, that people are really, you know, the RV business is in for a big boom. It's booming. And, you know, I'm going to sound off the alarms, because the business is booming. And I came to work on Sunday. I came in for a little bit, and I pulled in, and there must have been 25 cars here. And one of our salesmen was out sick, and my brother was, you know, by himself with the 2 receptionists. And there were so many customers, we couldn't keep up with them. And every single one of them were first-time buyers, and they had a lot of questions. And I can tell you that, you know, a snake oil salesman or a good slick salesman would have been able to sell every one of those people on the lot anything they wanted to sell them, you know. And it's kind of scary. And, you know, so all the more, you know, please, be a member of RV Advisor so we can, just look over your shoulder to make sure that, you're doing the right thing. The other thing is, rent versus buying. I had a couple yesterday, or maybe it was Sunday, and so they wanted to rent an RV and they wanted to go to Yellowstone, and they wanted to take his older parents and the wife's older parents. So there was going to be like 7 adults, full-size adults. And so they were, going on about the bed and the bed sizes and this and that. And we don't let our rentals go that far, to Yellowstone. So after talking to the guy and, round and round and trying to get a feel for what he's really doing and stuff like that. So I said, you really need to buy one. You should buy a used one. And because if you rent one, for 3 weeks, it's going to cost you $15,000, $16,000 by the time you're done with mileage. If anybody even lets their vehicle go that far. And, you can buy something for $30,000 and sell it again for $30,000, buy a used one, so you got to, really do the math when you're thinking about renting versus, buying. If you buy a used one, you have some resale value. The other thing is with renting, it's a great idea if you want to just go, local or a few hundred miles and stuff like that. But 90% of the rentals have restrictions on, on destinations or how far you can go. So
they do. Okay. Yeah.
So I just told the guy, when he really was adamant about renting, and I'm like, well, change your plans. You can go to Tennessee, you can go to Kentucky, you can go to North Carolina. And the guy was so cute. He was like stomping his feet. He goes, I want to go to Yellowstone. I've been waiting my whole life to go to Yellowstone. And, I said, then go to Yellowstone, buy an RV and go to Yellowstone. Don't let anybody, don't ruin your trip or have to, change your plans, finance it, figure it out. But, if you really are determined to go somewhere, put it in your plans and make it, I don't call it a bucket list. It's a wish list. It's a to-do list,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Life's too short. So anyway, he's working right now on a purchase, and so he can get to Yellowstone. So.
No, that's great. And we have an article or a little blurb coming out and talking about a couple of parks, national parks that are open. Acadia in Maine and Yosemite in California have limited opening, with certain, as far as of accessibility. I mean, not everything in the park is open, but they are in essence open. So
right.
Things are, starting to come, slowly beginning to
Full
normalize.
Circle.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing with RVing, and even if, God forbid, knock on wood, that, we have another shutdown, I think that RVing, in the campgrounds, if they keep their bathrooms and their facilities, closed, I believe the campgrounds, could squeak through as an essential, place, because they'll realize, you're 40 feet away from the next patio, you can't get any further distance, than that. And, if you hang out in your own little, patio area, and cook marshmallows by the fire and cook outside and, go hiking and stuff, I think that will be, that will survive. What may not survive is, dining in restaurants and stuff like that, but that's a good thing with the RV. You don't have to go to, because that was the pushback that people were, oh, we don't want these RVers coming in our town. We don't want them in our restaurants. We don't want, those people in our grocery stores and things like that. And that's the beauty with RVing. You don't buy or rent an RV to go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
You really don't.
That's true. And, we have 2 questions today on Just Ask Gigi, and I just want to run them by because the first one actually kind of relates to that. If I may,
go right ahead.
I'll ask you. Dave wants to know, first time RVer here, where do I go? I'm sorry. First time RVer here, what do I take with me on my first trip? So in other words, I think he's basically saying, some of the essentials to take with you, and then maybe, along the way you pick up some other things. But what would you recommend?
So Great question. And I
Yeah.
actually wrote an article that was published in More Magazine many years ago. And it was kind of my own tip. So what I do, and it was my son and I that would travel. So I put out 5 Tupperwares, those, you know, the big Rubbermaids
Mm-hmm.
that you know, get at Walmart or whatever. 5. One is for kitchen stuff. One is your bathroom towels, linens, things like that. And one was like my clothes, one was my son's clothes, and one was like miscellaneous stuff. If it doesn't fit in your 5 Tupperwares, you don't need it.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's really, really good to know. So there you go. You know, whatever you can fit in 5 tubs,
Yeah.
that's what's going with you. And then
5
the rest
tubs
of,
is like for 2 people, and then if you have more children,
then a tub
each
per
child would get
kid.
1 small tub for their clothes. But other than that, like that
Yeah.
5 tubs, you'd be surprised when people trade in their camper or bring it in for service, how packed it is. And
Yeah.
if they're transferring their stuff from their old one to the new one,
Right.
they're like, oh, look at that, there's my fishing pole, or there's my this that I haven't seen in 6 years. You know, this,
Yeah.
they didn't miss
Yeah.
it, they didn't need it,
Yeah.
they didn't use it. So you'd be surprised. You're gonna, you know, your downside, you're gonna get away with a lot less. You probably have 2 change of clothes, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, for a week.
Yeah. We have another question from Steve, and he says, traveling from state to state, is there an easy access information place to find out? He's asking basically state laws, you know, because you go from state to state.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're not sure about, you know, is there an easy access to that kind of a thing?
Well, if there are RV questions, you know, like campgrounds and stuff, I know on our website we have, if you go on and you look at the campgrounds, it'll tell you at whether they're open and what facilities they have that's available, and, you know, 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever. But if it's like state regulations, as far as driving and licenses and stuff like that, there are no regulations for any of that. But for like COVID questions and restrictions and curfew, things like that, you need to go on each state's official
State website.
State website.
Yeah.
Just and just look for COVID information, because COVID information is really the only thing you really need, is because otherwise everything else would be, you know, it's normal. So
Right.
So you just kind of need to know what COVID restrictions are out there before you cross state lines and stuff.
Right. No, absolutely. That's excellent. Excellent advice. Excellent information. Before we go, we want to let folks know that the drive continues on the RVACA. That's rvaca.org. If you can help in the fight against COVID, either by a donation, or if you have an RV that you're able to lend out for a period of time to help isolate some of our medical workers so they can steer clear of their family, friends and family, then wow, that would be great.
Just register your, you know, we need every vehicle registered. I have, which I was going to get into this week, but I'm going to start it next week. But
yeah,
I have this 2-page email from an RVACA member. Now, I wish he was an RVACA member before he bought this vehicle from Camping World. And when in his email, he was writing about flag number 1, red flag number 2, red flag number 3. Had he you know, called me and was a member before he drove off the lot, knowing red flag 1, 2, and 3,
yeah.
I would have told him to run.
Run the other direction.
Run the other direction. But anyway, but, you know, he became an RVACA member and joined after he made the mistake. We're here so this doesn't happen. So please, everybody, every RV owner, register your vehicle. It's a $50 dues for the year, for the association dues. Those dues go to get us to Washington, so this stuff doesn't happen, and I don't have to clean up messes like this, because I can't. Some of it I can't. Some people sign releases and you know, or lawyers are making all the money, so they've got themselves in a pickle. That's why you need an association. So just register your vehicle. Spend the $50 a year to register your vehicle to get us to Washington, so this stuff doesn't happen.
Absolutely. And that's the rvaca.org. That's the rvaca.org. And you can go there and get all the information you need. And of course, our website for the RV Advisor is thervadvisor.com. That's thervadvisor.com. Well, we're done for another week on Just Ask Gigi. And we'll be back again next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, don't forget also to listen to the RVA podcast with yours truly every Monday and Thursday. So for Gigi Stetler, it's thanks, Gigi. I got to say thank you. And I also have to wish the best to our mascot,
yes,
Yuki, who will.
Yes, I will keep you posted in next week. Hope to spread good news that he's home with me.
Yep, that would be great.
Yes.
That would be indeed good news.
Yes.
So we're all hoping and praying for that. So anyway, until next time, Gigi, be well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, and I'm going to see you soon. We're all going to come back to work soon. I miss everybody.
I hear you. That's the plan. That is the plan. So for Gigi Stetler, I'm Tom Alexander. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
So long. So long, everybody.